Are you eating healthy, cutting carbs, maybe even trying keto? But the fat just won't come off. You're doing everything right, and yet your body feels like it's working against you. Let me ask you something important. What if carbs are not the real problem? What if the real issue is something deeper, something hormonal? Because here's the truth most people never hear. Fat loss is not about calories first, it's about hormones. And the most powerful fat-storing hormone in your body is insulin. Most of my patients tell me, "Doctor, I've cut carbs, I'm eating clean, I'm barely eating, but I still can't lose weight." They believe carbs are the enemy. They think if they just remove bread, rice, and sugar, the fat should melt away. But here's what's actually happening inside your body. Your body doesn't store fat because of carbs alone. It stores fat when insulin stays elevated for too long. Insulin is like a switch. When insulin is high, your body stores fat. When insulin is low, your body burns fat. And here's the problem. You can eat low carb, but if your insulin is still high because of stress, frequent eating, hidden sugars, poor sleep, your body is still in fat storage mode. Let me explain this with a simple analogy. Imagine your body is a house with two fuel tanks. One tank is glucose, quick energy. The other is fat, long-term storage. Insulin is like a locked door to the fat tank. When insulin is high, that door is locked. You cannot access your fat, no matter how little you eat. So you feel tired, hungry, and stuck. Research published in the Journal of Clinical Investigation shows that chronically elevated insulin levels are directly linked to obesity and metabolic dysfunction, even independent of calorie intake. And according to the CDC, over 88% of adults have some level of metabolic dysfunction, meaning their insulin system is not working properly. That's almost everyone. So if you've been blaming carbs, you've been looking at the wrong target. The real issue is insulin resistance, and we're going to fix that. In this video, I'm going to break down why your insulin stays high even on a healthy diet, the hidden habits that block fat burning, and most importantly, how to reset your body to burn fat again. Start with this today. Go 12 hours overnight without eating. No snacks, no late night meals. This alone begins lowering insulin and unlocking fat burning. If this is helpful so far, consider subscribing. I break down complex health science into simple, practical tools you can use every day. Your metabolism is either healing or getting worse. Not next month, today. Now that you understand this critical shift, that insulin, not carbs alone, is the real driver, we need to break this down into practical, actionable insights. Because insulin doesn't stay high by accident. It's influenced by your daily habits, your environment, and your physiology. And most people are unknowingly triggering insulin spikes all day long. In this video, we're going to walk through 6 science-backed reasons why your body is stuck in fat storage mode, even if you think you're doing everything right. Here's what we're going to uncover. You're eating too frequently, even healthy foods. Constant eating keeps insulin elevated all day, never allowing your body to switch into fat-burning mode. Hidden insulin triggers in your diet. It's not just sugar. Certain keto snacks, processed foods, and even artificial sweeteners can spike insulin more than you think. Your liver is overloaded. A fatty or sluggish liver cannot regulate blood sugar properly, which leads to chronically high insulin. Stress and cortisol are silently raising insulin. Even with a perfect diet, high-stress hormones can block fat burning and keep your body in survival mode. Poor sleep is destroying your metabolic flexibility. Just one night of bad sleep can increase insulin resistance the next day. You haven't trained your body to burn fat yet. If your metabolism is still sugar-dependent, your body struggles to access stored fat, even during dieting. And here's what makes this powerful. Each of these is fixable. We're not talking about extreme diets. We're not talking about medication. We're talking about simple physiological resets that bring your body back into balance. As we go through each one, I'll show you what's really happening inside your body. why most advice gets this wrong, and exactly what to do, step by step, to fix it. Because once you lower insulin, fat loss stops being a struggle. It becomes automatic. Let me start with one of the most common and most misunderstood mistakes I see every single day. Almost every patient I've seen with stubborn weight loss says, "I eat small meals throughout the day to keep my metabolism active." They've been told this is healthy. That frequent eating stokes the metabolic fire. But here's what's actually happening inside your body. Every time you eat, even a small snack, your body releases insulin, not just for sugar, but for protein and even certain low-carb foods. So if you're eating breakfast, mid-morning, snack, lunch, afternoon, snack, dinner, maybe something at night, you're triggering insulin 5 to 6 times per day. That means your body is never getting a break. And remember, if insulin is elevated, fat burning is off. Research published in Cell Metabolism shows that extending the time between meals improves insulin sensitivity and increases fat oxidation, even without reducing calories. So it's not just what you eat, it's how often you eat. Let me explain this with a simple analogy. Think of insulin like a light switch in a room. Every time you eat, you flip the switch on. Now imagine someone keeps flipping that switch every hour. The light never turns off. Your fat-burning system works the same way. It needs periods of darkness, low insulin, to activate. And here's where people get stuck. They're eating clean, but too frequently. So their body is stuck in a constant storage cycle. A study in the New England Journal of Medicine highlighted that time-restricted eating, even without calorie restriction, significantly improves insulin sensitivity and metabolic health markers. This is powerful because it means timing alone can change your biology. So what do we do about it? Start simple. Move from constant snacking, 3 structured meals per day, then progress to 2 meals per day, intermittent fasting. Aim for a 12-16-hour fasting window. During that fasting period, no snacks, no sugary drinks, just water, black coffee, or tea. This allows insulin to drop low enough for fat burning to begin. If this is making sense so far, consider subscribing, because most people are never taught this level of metabolic control. My recommendation for every patient: start with a 14-hour overnight fast. For example, finish dinner at 7 p.m. Eat your first meal at 9 a.m. No cost, no supplements, just timing. Your body needs space to heal. Give it that window. Starting tonight. Now here's where things get a little more subtle, because many people fix their meal timing, but they're still not losing fat. And the reason is this. Most of my patients tell me, "I've completely cut sugar. I'm eating keto snacks, protein bars, sugar-free drinks, so my insulin should be low." On paper, it looks perfect, but the scale and their energy tell a different story. But here's what's actually happening inside your body. Insulin is not only triggered by sugar, it can also be triggered by artificial sweeteners like sucralose, aspartame, highly processed keto foods, frequent protein snacking. Even the anticipation of sweetness can stimulate insulin release. This is called the cephalic insulin response. Your brain signals insulin before glucose even enters your bloodstream. So you might be avoiding carbs, but your body is still behaving like you're consuming them, and that keeps you locked out of fat-burning mode. Let me explain this simply. Imagine ringing a doorbell. Even if no one is at the door, the sound still triggers a reaction inside the house. Artificial sweeteners work the same way. They ring the bell of sweetness, and your body responds by releasing insulin, even when there's no real sugar. Research published in Cell found that certain artificial sweeteners can alter glucose metabolism and increase insulin response in some individuals, especially when used frequently. And studies in diabetes care suggest that high intake of ultra-processed foods is strongly associated with increased insulin resistance, regardless of calorie intake. So the issue isn't just carbs, it's metabolic signaling. Your body responds to signals, not just ingredients. Here's how to clean this up. Eliminate keto snacks and processed low-carb products for 2 to 3 weeks. Avoid artificial sweeteners. Switch to natural, unsweetened foods. Focus on whole foods only. Eggs, meat, fish, healthy fats, low-carb vegetables. Eat protein during meals only, not constantly throughout the day. This reduces unnecessary insulin spikes and restores sensitivity. And here's what most people notice: less hunger, more stable energy. And finally, fat loss begins. For the next 48 hours, eat only foods that have one ingredient. If it comes in a packet with a label, skip it. Your body is always listening to your signals. Clean the signals, starting with your next meal. Now let's talk about the organ that sits at the center of your metabolism, your liver. Because if your liver isn't functioning properly, you will struggle to lose fat, no matter what diet you follow. Most of my patients tell me, my problem is just body fat. Once I lose weight, everything else will fix itself. They think fat loss is the starting point. But here's what's actually happening inside your body. Your liver is responsible for regulating blood sugar, processing nutrients, managing insulin levels, and deciding whether your body stores fat or burns it. But when your liver becomes fatty or overloaded, it loses its ability to respond properly to insulin. This condition is called hepatic insulin resistance, and now your body has a problem. Your liver keeps releasing glucose, even when you don't need it. Your pancreas responds by releasing more insulin, and that high insulin blocks fat burning. So even if you're eating less, your body is still stuck in storage mode. Let me explain this simply. Think of your liver like a traffic control center. Its job is to direct energy where it needs to go. But if that control center is overloaded and malfunctioning, signals get confused, traffic backs up, and energy, instead of being used, gets stored as fat. According to research published in The Lancet, over 25% of adults globally have non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, NAFLD, and many don't even know it. Even more concerning, studies show that fatty liver is one of the earliest drivers of insulin resistance, not just a consequence. So if your liver is struggling, your metabolism is stuck. Here's how we begin restoring liver function. Eliminate fructose-heavy foods, especially sugary drinks and processed foods. Increase cruciferous vegetables, broccoli, cauliflower, cabbage. Add bitter foods, lemon water, apple cider vinegar before meals. Consider intermittent fasting. This gives the liver time to unload stored fat. Prioritize hydration. Your liver depends on it, and most importantly, consistency over intensity. If this is helping you see your body differently, consider subscribing, because this is the level of root cause thinking that actually creates lasting change. Every morning, drink a glass of water with 1 tablespoon apple cider vinegar before your first meal. This simple habit supports liver function and improves insulin response. You don't fix fat loss first. You fix the system that controls it. Start with your liver today. Now, here's where many people get frustrated. They fix their diet, they improve their fasting, they clean up their food, but the fat still won't move. And the missing piece is this. Almost every patient I've seen says, stress doesn't affect my weight, it's just mental. They separate stress from metabolism. But here's what's actually happening inside your body. When you're stressed, your body releases cortisol, a survival hormone. Cortisol's job is simple: raise blood sugar quickly so you can respond to a threat. Now here's the problem. Your body doesn't know the difference between a real physical threat, financial stress, lack of sleep, emotional pressure, constant overthinking. To your body, it's all the same. So cortisol goes up, blood sugar rises, insulin is released, fat burning shuts down. Even if your diet is perfect, your hormones can override it. Let me explain this simply. Think of cortisol like a fire alarm. It's designed for emergencies. But if that alarm is constantly going off, even when there's no fire, it creates chaos. Your body stays in emergency mode. And in that state, it prioritizes survival, not fat loss. Research published in Psychoneuroendocrinology shows that chronic stress is strongly associated with increased abdominal fat and insulin resistance, even without changes in diet. And studies from the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that elevated cortisol can directly impair fat oxidation. So you can be doing everything right. But if stress is high, insulin stays elevated. We don't eliminate stress completely, but we control your response to it. Here's how. Start your day without your phone for the first 30 minutes. Add 10-15 minutes of walking daily, especially outdoors. Practice slow breathing, inhale 4 seconds, exhale 6 seconds, repeat for 5 minutes. Avoid intense workouts when you're already exhausted. Prioritize calm, consistent routines because your nervous system controls your metabolism more than you think. My recommendation for every patient: take a 10-minute walk after your largest meal. This lowers blood sugar, reduces insulin, and calms cortisol. If stress stays high, fat loss stays blocked. Calm your system. Starting today. Now, let me ask you something honestly. How well are you really sleeping? Because you can have the perfect diet, perfect meal timing, low stress, but if your sleep is off, your metabolism will suffer. Most of my patients tell me sleep doesn't really affect my weight. I can function fine on 5-6 hours. They treat sleep like a luxury, not a biological necessity. But here's what's actually happening inside your body. When you don't get enough quality sleep, your body becomes more insulin resistant the very next day. Your hunger hormones shift, ghrelin increases, you feel hungrier. Leptin decreases, you feel less satisfied. Cortisol rises, which we already know increases insulin. So now you have a perfect storm. Higher hunger, higher cravings, higher insulin, lower fat burning. And this can happen after just one night of poor sleep. Let me explain this simply. Think of sleep like your body's nightly reset button. Every night, your system recalibrates hormones, repairs cells, and restores balance. But if you keep skipping that reset, it's like using a phone that never fully charges. Eventually, everything slows down, glitches, and stops working properly. Research published in the Annals of Internal Medicine found that just 4 nights of sleep restriction reduced insulin sensitivity by over 30%. And according to the National Sleep Foundation, adults need 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep for optimal metabolic health. So if your sleep is broken, your metabolism is compromised. Here's how to fix this. Set a consistent sleep time, even on weekends. Stop eating 2 to 3 hours before bed. Reduce screen exposure 1 hour before sleep. Keep your room dark, cool, quiet. If needed, consider magnesium glycinate, herbal teas like chamomile. And most importantly, treat sleep like a non-negotiable part of your health plan. Tonight, set a fixed sleep window of at least 7 hours and protect it. No scrolling, no distractions, just recovery. You can't out-diet poor sleep. Fix your nights, starting tonight. Now, this is the final and often overlooked reason why fat loss feels so difficult. Because even if you lower carbs, even if you fix your meals, sleep, and stress, your body still needs to learn how to burn fat. Most of my patients tell me, I've been eating low carb for a few days, but I feel tired, weak, and I'm not losing weight, so it's not working. They assume something is wrong, but here's what's actually happening inside your body. Your metabolism has been trained for years to rely on glucose as its primary fuel. So when you reduce carbs, your body enters a transition phase. This is called metabolic inflexibility. At this stage, your body is not getting enough glucose, but it's also not efficient at burning fat yet, so you feel low energy brain fog, cravings, frustration. But this is not failure. This is adaptation. Let me explain this simply. Think of your body like a hybrid car. It has 2 fuel systems: gas, glucose, electric, fat. But if you've only ever used gas, the electric system becomes weak and underused. When you suddenly switch, there's a lag until the system powers back up. Research in the Journal of Physiology shows that fat oxidation efficiency increases significantly after several weeks of carbohydrate restriction, as the body upregulates enzymes responsible for fat metabolism. This means fat burning is a trained skill, not an instant switch. So if you quit too early, you never allow your body to fully transition. Here's how to support fat adaptation properly. Stay consistent with low carb or keto eating for at least 2 to 4 weeks. Increase healthy fats to support energy during transition. Maintain electrolyte balance. Sodium, potassium, magnesium. Avoid frequent cheat meals. They reset the adaptation process. Combine with intermittent fasting to accelerate fat-burning pathways. And most importantly, be patient with the process. Because once your body becomes fat-adapted, energy becomes stable, cravings drop, and fat loss becomes effortless. Each day, aim for at least one meal that is fully low-carb, high-fat, and whole food-based. Train your body one meal at a time. Your body can burn fat, but only if you train it to. Stay consistent, starting now. So let's step back and look at what we've uncovered today, because this changes everything. Fat loss is not about starving yourself. It's not about cutting carbs endlessly. And it's definitely not about willpower. It's about controlling insulin. Here's what's really been happening inside your body. You've been eating too frequently, keeping insulin elevated all day. You've been exposed to hidden insulin triggers. Even in healthy foods, your liver may be overloaded, disrupting metabolic control. Stress and cortisol have been silently blocking fat-burning. Poor sleep has been increasing insulin resistance, and your body hasn't fully become fat-adapted yet. When you understand this, everything starts to make sense. You're not broken. Your body is simply responding to signals. And here's the empowering part. Every single one of these is within your control. You don't need extreme diets. You don't need complicated protocols. You need consistency with the fundamentals. Give your body time between meals. Eat real, whole foods. Support your liver. Calm your nervous system. Protect your sleep and allow your body time to adapt, because when insulin comes down, your body does what it was designed to do. It burns fat naturally, efficiently, consistently. So here's my challenge to you. Pick just one thing from this video. Maybe it's a 14-hour fast. Maybe it's removing processed foods. Maybe it's fixing your sleep tonight, and commit to it for the next 7 days. Track how you feel, because when your metabolism starts to shift, you'll feel it before you see it. You'll notice more stable energy, fewer cravings, better focus, and slowly, the fat will start to come off. And remember this, you don't force fat loss. You create the conditions for it. If this added value to your life, like the video and subscribe, and join a community of people taking control of their health naturally, step by step. Final thought, your body is always listening. Change the signals, and you change the outcome. Start today, not next week, today.